lot of people are trying to figure out, how do I improve? How do I get better? I've been trying everything to make a change in my life and I can't manage to do it. Today, I'm going to be breaking down my goals and how I've been working on improving myself. Even though I've been able to get multiple master's degrees, I ended up becoming the number one personal trainer at the gym that I was working at within a few months, and how I'm continuing to improve, grow, and change the life that I'm currently living. And this is a question that comes from my boy Dakody. He goes to the gym. I trained him for a few sessions. Shout out to you. Stay smart, stay safe. I love you, Cody. Hopefully, you've been selling a lot of cars. But here's your information. If you want to be able to continually grow, continually develop, no matter what stage of life you're at, no matter where you live, no matter what you're doing for your occupation, you need to change your character. The person you are is the most important thing to your growth and development. And if you try and change your actions without changing who you are, any action you've taken, anything, any possession you're able to get before you changed, will end up being gone, because who you are is exactly the same. And so you're going to fall back into the same habits, same tendencies, and same lifestyle. So, to fully understand this, I'm going to start with, who is that character? The reason this is so important is because our language and our way of thinking about things has specific things ingrained within it. If somebody has bad morals, is a thief, lies a lot, constantly backstabbing people, you would say that person has no character. If somebody was to be ultra successful but constantly bragging about the newest accomplishment they have, somebody would tell them, act as if you've already been there. So, being able to put on a mask, act as a specific person, and play a specific character within life is not only normal, natural, but also very ingrained in the way you've already thought about life. You already have a perception of yourself. You already have an idea of who you are, when in reality, you are limitless. Prime example is your name. If I ask you, who are you? You'll say, I am blank, right? And I'll do this through the lens of Dakody. If I said, hey, I'm Terrell, what's your name? You would say, I am Dakody, all right? And so the thing is, if you were to move to a new state, if you were to move to a new country, and you said your name is Ricardo, nobody would bat an eye. They would say, hey, nice to meet you, Ricardo. I'm such and such. And so who you are isn't your name, it's just part of your identification. But what you do for work is not who you are, because that could always change. Who you are is a unlimited being with consciousness. You can be anything, do anything, and live any way. And so once you understand, I am just consciousness within a vessel, a body, a vessel, then you can start to understand this. As this consciousness, I can play any character I want. And it all comes down to my mindset and the way I think about things. If you, as whomever you are, say, from this point forward, I'm going to be a multi-million-dollar man who thinks about the world in this specific type of way, and you go through every single character trait, every single idea to actually try and become that person. You go through and practice being that person, speaking like that person, acting like that person, going where that person would go, doing the things that person would do. Sooner or later, you would have become so good at playing the character of that person that that would be who you are. That's who the world would see you as. The only person who would know you're putting on a specific character is you and the people who met you prior to that change. And so, if you want to continue to grow, you need to know the person you're trying to be. You're trying to know the character you want to become. Because when you know the character you want to become, then it becomes a very simple process to actually make change. And we'll talk about that now. So, first and foremost, to actually know who's the character you want to become, you need to figure out your dream vision. What is the outcome of the life you want to experience? Where are the places you want to be? What is the house you want to have? What is the car you want to have? How's your family? How are your children? Know everything about the life you want to be able to live. What cars? Maserati, Bugatti, Lambo. What's your income? $100,000 a week. I don't care what it is. Just figure out what it is you want and all the minute details of the lifestyle you want to live. Once you have that outline of everything you want to experience, then you need to ask yourself, if a person were to be able to have all of these things, what would they be like? If a person is able to maintain and afford a very big home, they must be wealthy. They must be good with money. They must be cool with some real estate agents, probably. They must probably have a good job and high income. And so you can start breaking down all these different things. If you want to have a beautiful wife, okay, so then that means you need to develop confidence. You need to be able to talk to people because you're probably not going to get a beautiful wife if you can't talk to her. What else? If you want to have a lot of income, you need to have money management skills. You need to have the ability to sell because practically anybody under the sun who has a lot of money does it through some form of sales, whether they're selling their own product, they're selling a product through an affiliate, or they're selling something for an organization. Whatever it may be, you need to know how to sell. Once you know how to sell, well, you're probably going to need to learn how to market not only yourself, but whatever your organization sells, whether it's yours or your company that you're working for. There's a lot of character traits that goes into being able to have and maintain the things you want in life. And when you know exactly what you want in life, then you can start to pinpoint and pull out all the character traits of the person who does have that life, the qualities that person should have. And if you know all the qualities and personalities and things of the person who would have that life, then you can move on to the next step, which is fully understanding what are the standards this person would have to be able to maintain. Now, your standards are one of the most important things in your life because we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our standards. So, whatever you're experiencing right now, it's because of your standard. If you don't have any standards, that says enough about you. But if you do have standards and you're not reaching those standards, then it tells you enough about who you are now. You need to start looking and viewing through the lens of, okay, there's this person who lives this specific life I want. They should have all these character traits, but because of the character traits they have, what standards would they have for themselves? Well, someone who's wealthy, makes a lot of money, and has a beautiful wife probably would need a fairly strong group of friends. Okay, my standard. I need to have a good group of friends that I trust who are strong and amazing. Cool. Standard number one. I need to have good time management. Okay, I follow a schedule, and my schedule will have this, 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 and this, and that. That's my standard. I want to be fit. I want to have six packs. I want to be able to do this. Okay, cool. This is your new standard. You're going to be working out multiple times per week. You need to break down every single standard you could possibly think of. What's your income standard? What is the bottom line income you'll accept from yourself? What is the bottom line? There's some people in the world who think making only $10,000 a month is disgusting. And they're so used to living at $1 million a month, $1 billion a month, that to think about only having $10,000 makes them feel disgusted because that's their standard. And to be able to continue to grow, you need to be able to make standards that you meet under any circumstance. There's no question this standard will be upheld. And once that standard is upheld, to be able to grow, you have to raise that standard. You have to raise that bar. You have to raise that minimum threshold for what you can call success. And once you're at that point where that new standard is locked in and you know what the standards of your character are, then you can move on to accomplishments. Now, this is where things start to get fun because this actually gives you a roadmap of what you need to do to get to being this character. You need to look at, okay, this person has accomplished these things. This person has this house. This person has this car. This person has these things. Well, you can start to look at what accomplishments must be made along the way in order to be able to get the things that are in this dream vision. If it's a 5 bedroom house this person has, then maybe you can say, okay, this person moved out of his parents' house and got an apartment. This person was in an apartment for a little while, moved into a nice 3 bedroom house. After being in that 3 bedroom house, this person was finally able to afford a 5 bedroom house. Cool. Now you know the accomplishments you need to make along the way to get to where you want to be, right? If it's about income, okay, this person hit his first $10,000 month. Then he ended up hitting his first $10,000 week. Now this person consistently makes $10,000 every single week. Okay, now you know the roadmap and the game plan to success to get to where you want to be. You need to know the accomplishments of this person and know what they've accomplished so that you can start to emulate that. And now you know, what am I shooting for? What am I aiming for in the short term? Because the more things from this accomplishments list I knock out, the more I know I'm getting closer to actually being the person who has all these things that I want. And if you can do all of these things, if you can be as in depth and in detail as you possibly can with all of these steps, you will be able to continually grow. Because think about it, if Elon Musk today were to be like, I hate the way I look, I dislike this, I dislike that, he's a billionaire. So he's not worried about money. He could say, yeah, I hate that I'm chubby right now. I'm getting a personal trainer, I'm working out 5 times per week, and I'm taking an extra 2 time or an extra 2 hours out of my day to specifically put towards my fitness. I'm gonna be the healthiest billionaire there is. And he could go do it. He could take a Mark Zuckerberg type route where Mark Zuckerberg started training MMA. Now he's buff, he's lean, he can fight, he's doing all his stuff. Mark Zuckerberg had to change his character. Elon Musk may need to change his character if he wants to look better. He probably can't be throwing up those anymore, right? So the point is, if you want to continue to grow, you need to start by creating a dream vision. Once you have your dream vision, you need to start looking at, if this person was able to accomplish this dream vision, what would they have character wise? What traits would this person have? How would they think about the world? How would they see the world? What goes on through their mind? Once you have that idea down, then you need to look at, okay, what is this person's standards? Now that I know this person's standards, what are their accomplishments? And once you know this person's accomplishments, then you are able to put this all together into a personal manifesto, which is going to be your compass to the life you actually want. You can say, this is the person that I am, and this is the life they live. And so once you know, I'm this person and this is the life I live, now it's all about cutting out the fluff that doesn't line up with that life and adding in slowly everything that does align with that life to make it happen. And if you get to the point where you succeed, you get everything from that dream vision and from that personal manifesto, all you have to do is start back over, write a new one, and know exactly who you're working to become now. And if you can go through that process over and over and over and over, there will never be a time where you're struggling to grow, because you will always have a purpose, you will always have a meaning, and you will always have a direction in life. So, if you like that, stay smart, stay safe. I love you. To Dakota, appreciate the question again, brother. I hope life is treating you well. And for everybody else, if you feel like this guidepost helped you a lot and you want the full, unaltered breakdown of how to do this with worksheets, hit the link in my description. It'll take you to a page where you can purchase my course, and we will get you started on creating the character of your dreams and becoming that person as soon as possible. Peace.